I'm Ilse Grimm.
And I'm Otto Grimm. Lovely to meet you.
Yes, and we're not in a band.
No.
No. We're actually direct descendants of the Brothers Grimm, who collected the famous household tales. Wilhelm Grimm was our great grandfather. and we're continuing the family business. We run the Grimm's collecting agency.
We have been commissioned by Crystal Palace Festival and Teatro Vivo to assess the people of Crystal Palace. Now, we have spent 3 days asking questions and asking for stories from the amazing people of Crystal Palace. We've found many interesting stories, haven't we?
We have indeed.
And we are very excited to share them with you.
Yes, now, as you may or may not know, listening to stories gives you enormous health benefits. Yes, we are quite healthy, having listened to so many stories last weekend. And over the last 2 days, we have collated and curated your stories. And they seem to have fallen into 5 distinct categories.
6.
5.
6.
We're not doing that category.
Why not? What's wrong with the poo category?
It's too early for stories about poo.
Why?
Otto. And these categories will help us to understand the state and feeling of the people of Crystal Palace. By far the largest category was community. Many of the stories that you told us involved a sense of community spirit, of coming together, of mutual respect. We heard one story from Bernie, the landlord in the Royal Albert. Do go and have a tipple if you're passing. He's got a lovely collection of ceramic pots above the bar. Esther Ranson's been in his pub, and if you go in there, Bernie will tell you very proudly that Esther Ranson likes his jugs.
We are the story of Christian's skating family. So Christian, to combat the isolation of this sad spring, started skating every single day. Sooner or later, he started collecting a family, a community of skaters. Now there are over 38 of them, ranging from the ages of 7 to 68.
Yes, and many of the people we talked to were strangers, talking to each other as if they'd known each other for years. But Richard warned us not all strangers are friendly in Crystal Palace. He had a man with long, black hair and big yellow teeth arrive at his door, who turned out to be a robber.
Oh, and let's not forget about Andy, who used to run a leather shop right here. Now, it was a place where people from Hell's Angels and people who wear lederhosens could meet. Now, if that's not a community, I don't know what is.
But the story we really want to share with you that brings out Crystal Palace's sense of community is called The Lost Child of Crystal Palace. In the year 2020, no one worked, and everyone listened to the birds. One morning, a mother with her 3 children went to the park, as they did every day, once a day, to play and to learn. That particular morning, the mother was teaching her daughters and her son Jonas, who was her favourite child. He was allowed to wear his Snoopy t-shirt every day to the park. The mother was teaching them about nature coming into its stride. Jonas didn't like to learn, he just wanted to play. He lagged behind, dragging his heels. Don't want to learn. Want to play in Pistol Crellis Park. Want to be a tree. Then I don't have to follow mum and sisters about. The mother heard this and she turned round to reprimand Jonas. But he was gone. She looked up the avenue and down the avenue, and he was nowhere to be found. She saw 2 women on a bench, Rebecca and her friend, and enlisted their help to search for Jonas. And then she found 2 men to help with the search. And then 2 women from Bulgaria who were sitting on a bench also joined in the search for Jonas. Soon, everyone in the park was helping to look for the boy. The mother gave everyone their marching orders. She sent some to the dinosaurs to search. She sent others to the place where the palace made of glass used to stand. And Rebecca and her friend decided they'd go to the labyrinth because it was the place that held secrets. On their way, they met jugglers who joined in the search, including the mysterious hula hoop lady, also was searching for Jonas. Soon, the park re-echoed with the sounds of Snoopy!
Snoopy, Snoopy, Snoopy.
Jonas!
Jonas, Jonas, Jonas.
Boy!
Boy, boy, boy.
Deep in the labyrinth, Rebecca and her friend crept further inwards to the dark centre of it until they turned a corner and bumped into two women in hijabs who were quite concerned, but then soon joined in the search as well. However, when the sun was beginning to set, Rebecca and her friend sadly had to go back to the avenue of trees to find the mother and her daughters to tell them of their failure. When they got there, the mother and the daughters were gone. But Rebecca noticed that in the middle of the avenue were 4 little new green trees that hadn't been there before. One of those trees was lagging behind the others. The end.
Amazing, Elsa.
Thank you.
Another category that we observed was that of love. We found many stories of love, as we always do when we're collecting stories. It seems to be a common theme everywhere, but especially in Crystal Palace. There were stories of wedding dress shoppers, relationships, and my favourite, the story of the lockdown lovers. Ooh. Now, Robin and Lucy had known each other for many, many, many years. Lucy was working as a professional musician in Berlin, but she came to London for a job. Unfortunately, she became stranded here, so Lucy decided to live with Robin. Now, they fell in love in lockdown. You could say Robin made Lucy's heart skip a beat, but her heart kept on skipping and she had to make a few trips to the hospital. But luckily, there's a happy ending. Now, I love love. I love love, so I had to write a song about it. Shakespeare said, if music be the food of love, play on, right?
We're supposed to be telling stories, not singing.
I think music is a very viable way to tell a story. I think they would agree as well.
Yes, all right.
Oh, thank you. I call this one Lockdown Lovers. Let's make sure there's a... The melody, I'll be the base that we build it on and grow. From London to West The music that we played when we were young. Who knew we'd sing the song that we sung? In the new normal we found love. In the new normal. The irregular beating of your heart starts, and the fear that we might be apart swells inside of me. Now, like an orchestra, we've lived, we've played, we've loved together in unity. So, all I can do is support you. And it scares me. But you are my new normal. Lockdown love. Lockdown love. Lockdown love. You be the melody, I'll be the bass that we build it on and grow. From Berlin to West
That was rather lovely.
It was really fun, wasn't it? Oh, hold on, I still have a song about poo.
No, not the poo song.
Don't be such a spoiled sport.
Not appropriate. I'm sorry.
It's never appropriate.
You're not all lovers here in Crystal Palace. We've heard some stories about past fighting too. In World War II, bombs were dropped. In fact, we gave this category all of its own, the title of bombs. We heard about bombs dropping on the Paxton Centre in World War II, and we also heard the story of 2 World War II live mortar bombs being kept in a shop in Crystal Palace. for 18 months, completely illegally, Andy. But fortunately, they were sent far away to a farm and detonated by the bomb squad completely safely.
Beautiful.
But we want to tell you the story that Stephen Sin told us, and it's called The Bomb in the Basement.
Ooh.
Otto, I need your help, and Stephen is originally from Liverpool, so get your Liverpudlian accent ready.
Oh, Liverpool accent. Yeah, sure, I can do that.
In 2002, Stephen and his wife bought a very ordinary 3-bedroomed family home in Crystal Palace. Then 4 years ago, I'm afraid Stephen lost his job and was made redundant.
Now, with all that free time, what was Stephen going to do with it? He decided to undergo a project. He was going to clean up the whole basement. So, he was there doing bits and bobs, and he found something a little bit strange. Something weird. Metal, cylindrical, heavy, and with a strange symbol on it. And he thought he recognised it, but he didn't really think much of it. So, he put it back. And he went upstairs and had dinner with his wife.
Love, how did you get on with cleaning out the basement? Actually, Otto, Liverpudlian is quite difficult.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yes.
Why don't we just go for like a general, somewhere around the north-ish?
General Northern?
Yes.
Good idea. All right, love.
I'm good, love.
How did you get on cleaning the basement?
Well, you see, I was doing bits and bobs, but I found something quite strange. Something I ain't never seen before,
Well, what do you mean? What was it like?
Well, it was cylindrical and like heavy, but I don't think it was like a boating thing or anything like that. I ain't never seen it before. You could almost say it was bomb-like.
Bomb-like?
No, but bomb.
A bomb? Like a bomb?
No, bomb-like. A bomb adjacent, you see.
Oh. Well, I tell you what, love. Let me look in this encyclopedia. See if I can find it. Cylindrical, you say, metal,
yeah.
With a symbol on it.
Symbol, yeah.
Yeah. Did it look anything like that?
Oh yes, that's it.
See, that's an incendiary bomb from World War II. The symbol is a swastika. Did you not notice?
No, I thought it was a symbol from the Isle of Man.
Oh, you daft David. What are you like?
Oh, sorry.
We've got an incendiary bomb in the basement. What are we going to do?
I know what we should do. We should sleep on it.
And so they did. They went to sleep, just like that, until early in the morning at about 5 a.m.
Stephen had something stir inside of him. Something told him to go downstairs and take care of it. So he went downstairs, went to the basement, got the bomb, and then went towards the garage, and then chucked it into the garden.
And then went back to bed. And slept soundly till 8 a.m. when he and his wife woke up and thought they really ought to call the bomb squad. And so the bomb squad arrived and confirmed it was indeed a World War II incendiary device. But thankfully, it was a dud. The end.
The end. Now, another category that we have noticed is animals. Now, Crystal Palace's love for animals runs deep from a story that we were told. Now, this is the story of the Crystal Palace elephant. Long ago, when the Crystal Palace stood high and tall, an elephant was exhibited there, but the elephant escaped. It took 2 days to find him, and he ended up all the way in Sydenham. That's how big Crystal Palace is.
But we want to tell you a story that we collected which features all of the animals we heard about in Crystal Palace, and it's called The Magic Necklace. Once upon a time, there was a girl called Nyla, and she had a pet chameleon called Killian. Killian liked to eat cucumbers. Thank you, Otto. One morning, as Killian was eating his breakfast, he noticed something in the cucumber patch. It was purplish and blue. It was a necklace and Nyla put it on. And as soon as she did so, she lost her memory. She didn't know who she was, she didn't know where she was, and she didn't know what Killian was either. Killian, a chameleon, thought, we need to do something about this. Who can help us? Roscoe, the rescue cat. That's who. Ah, thank you, Mark. Roscoe, the rescue cat, was visiting his girlfriend on the Waldegrave Road.
I don't really know the problem, but Nyla seems to have lost her mind. When I'm lost, people put a notice up about me to see if I can be found. Why don't you put a notice up with a picture of Nyla's mind to see if it can be found?
Great idea, and they did that. It didn't work. So they had to go to their other friend, Sam the squirrel. That's you, Mark. Mark is our lovely assistant. He's local. Mark, it's a squirrel. Thank you. Sam the squirrel was very clever. She could cross the road in the park during the bike race, travel around in some bike spokes, and then come out the other side completely unhurt. She was very clever. She looked at the necklace and said... She said the necklace is made out of forget-me-not flowers. That's probably made Nyla lose her memory.
Forget-me-whats?
Oh. Forget-me-not.
Forget-me-not, yes.
Yes, forget-me-not.
Hello, Kelly. Hello, Mark. Hello.
Yes. Just then, a grandma approached them. That's my necklace, that is. Do you know what? It made me lose my memory, so I chucked it in the cucumber patch. But I tell you what, girl, you have it.
No, I can't keep it on. It made me lose my memory too.
So they wondered what to do. Sam the squirrel did indeed provide the answer. She said, why don't you bury it in the ground like I do with my nuts? And then, when the flowers grow, each forget-me-not flower will be a memory of Crystal Palace. And that's what they did. The end.
Wonderful. Do you know what else animals do?
They eat.
Yes, they eat, they love, they also poo. Now, we have collected a lot of poo stories, and I think it will do a disservice to the community.
Did you even make Mark do a sign?
I think it has legitimate purpose, and we should be true to the stories of the community, and if that means poo, then it means poo.
I think we've just got time for the poo story.
I made a song.
The poo song.
Oh, I'm excited about this one.
I'm sorry.
If you know the lyrics at home, join in. This is called Pooing in the Palace. Pooing in the palace, Crystal Palace pooers everywhere. Crystal Palace pooers on a Monday or a Tuesday, or make a house from a loo day. Santa had some bad luck. Once a pigeon pooed right in her eyes. Walking through the triangle, suddenly a bird released next to a leg. Close, she said, the wind it created was fast enough to name it.
Shipwind!
Shipwind! Steph was at a wedding, staying at her parents' house. She left a phone and keys inside. Her barrel screamed inside her. Help! She was stuck outside. She saw a bush, she knows she'll do it. She pooed in terror and blamed it on the terrier. Shipwind. catchy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But back to the proper categories. Our final category is really the most important one, because many of you told stories of survival. We heard from Tamar, who survived coronavirus.
We heard from Alison, who runs Warrior Fitness. Now, she's been through a lot, and she is both a physical and mental health warrior.
Roy told us his 999 story. He was supposed to be dead by the age of 9. He was born with spina bifida, but survived. And then 9 years ago, he became a stepfather to 4 children. So he's just spent his 9th Father's Day.
And let's not forget the story of Amanda, one that really touched me. Now, Amanda was one of the strongest people we had the pleasure of meeting. She was born and put in care from a very young age, born from 2 very different worlds, and she went home for the first time at the age of 7. I love the story so much, I thought I had to turn it into a storybook. Just for you, Amanda. Is it alright if I read it out?
I think it's perfect.
Thank you. This is called There's No Place Like Home. There's no place like home. Born from the magical marriage of a Nigerian Muslim and a white Jew, these 2 worlds came together to create you, Amanda. You won't know your mother for 15 years. That burden you bear with your brother will be your strength. But there's no place like home. The world isn't fair. A child placed in care. You wonder, where is home? You're not sure, but you know there's nowhere like it. Tommy Price and you, 2 of the lucky few who had Father's Due every Saturday or Sunday. What a day, Tommy tells you. There's no place like home. You see, this Sunday was special. Tommy and his dad went out. Tommy went home. At the ripe age of 7, the longing grows for this place they call home. Can I go? You ask. With hope in your heart, a sunny Sunday smile on your face. Your father's surprised. But there's no time to waste. He talks and talks and talks to many people. For the first time in forever, you went home. Smiling, you say, there's no place like it. The end.
Thank you, Otto. That was really rather wonderful.
Thank you.
And so, Crystal Palace, we'd like to present you with our story-finding conclusions.
We have found that Crystal Palace has a big sense of community.
It has a rich history of bombs and burning buildings.
We have found out that you guys are lovers, not fighters.
And you really do like your animals.
You also have the most amazing poo stories in the world.
But most of all, we discovered that you're survivors, which will stand you in good stead in hard times to come. Everything will be all right if you just keep leaning on each other.
We'd like to say thank you to every single Crystal Palace resident who lent their stories for us today to tell. We'd love to sing a song to say thank you. Ready?
I think so.
All right, let's do this.
Not normally a singer.
Oh, she's brilliant.
Martin and Delilah, Sarah, Giles and Clara, Ian, Ross, Killian and Erin, Katie, Emma, Andy, Steve, of course, Chris and Hannah, Sam and Sanna, Alison and Anne-Marie. Patsy, Carol, Tamar, Julia, David, Daphne, Ben, Asim, Bernie, Christian and the skaters, traffic wardens, Roy, Louise, Tom, Diana, Des and Hannah, Richard, Ava, Emily. Christine, Kate, Steph, Lucy, Robin, Chris the cyclist, Kia's Ma, Rebecca, Russ and Alistair, the women from Bulgaria, Crystal Palace storytellers, giving up your time for free.
Thank you, Crystal Palace. Thank you, Crystal Palace. Thank you, Crystal Palace, for all you've done. Though time you'll stay strong.
Thank you, Crystal Palace,
For all you've done, though times are hard, you'll stay strong.